December 3rd was the last day in the NBA Cup, and it was rough. These past few days have been marked by scars from the battlefield. The bookies celebrate, their smug smiles plastered across their faces, thinking they found our weakness. But what they fail to see is the storm brewing on the horizon. This isn't defeat, it's the calm before retaliation. They've underestimated us, mistaking temporary losses for surrender. What lies ahead is not a retreat, but a calculated counterattack, one that will remind them why they should never get comfortable. Stay ready. The reckoning is near. This channel is Tears of a Bookie. My name is Mo, and here our goal is to try our best to give out winning sports picks that are free, of course, and that are backed with detailed and meticulous analysis with one goal: taking down and tearing down and breaking down the bookies. And while the past few days it seems that it's the bookies that have gotten the upper hand on us, things will change and our time will come very, very soon, starting from tonight. Let's get it. But what we always do is the bets recap. Yesterday I had no bets, but of course the last day was the NBA Cup. I had just one bet, but it was still a frustrating loss. Pistons to cover the spread by 5.5, and OKC money line. OKC of course hit, but Pistons, the Bucks just couldn't miss from three. They just could not miss, and they absolutely destroyed the Pistons. The Pistons did not stand a chance. I feared that if Lillard and Giannis would show up in their god modes, there would be nothing that the Pistons would do, and that was sort of what happened. But of course, not just them, the entire team just, I mean, the Bucks, they just could not miss, and there's nothing really we can do about that. I mean, hey, it's an L. It is an L, and this, I just think that the Pistons are just, they're just, history repeats itself for them. They're just a doomed franchise, at least for the time being. But we need to dig out of this December negative hole. But like I said, even if I go down 10 billion units or whatever, we always will show everything here every day, every time, unlike a lot of other places. And also, the total units are still positive. But like I said, our goal here is to make every month profitable. We need to get out of this, and that starts tonight. Let's try to get it and get back on track. Before starting with the picks, though, if you do find the picks and the information you get from us, um, anyway it helps you at all and you find it useful, please consider subscribing. It is a big help, and we appreciate you. To those who have subscribed and watched the videos, thank you so much. And without further ado, let's get right into the picks. The game I am looking into tonight, not many picks, just three, but I do like these three. And the game that I'm looking into tonight is the East versus Western clash of two big teams, Denver Nuggets and Cleveland Cavaliers. And let's start off with the first bet. It's a same game parlay. I haven't done this in a while, and especially the same game parlay that involves a player prop parlay. Two players in the same game, and these two players are teammates playing for the Denver Nuggets, and you see them right here: Nikola Jokic and Michael Porter Jr. Now, what are the props we're taking? I'm glad you asked. Here it is. We're taking Jokic over over 10 and a half rebounds, parlayed with Michael Porter Jr. 2+ threes. Now, both of them are alt lines. The original lines are 11.5 for Jokic's rebounds and 2.5 for Michael Porter Jr.'s threes. But let me start with the rebounds for the Joker. Now, Cavs are recently giving up a lot of rebounds to the center position. In their 5 recent games, Valanciunas had 11. He's averaging only about 8. Porzingis 8, Capella 13 and 9, and Jakob Poeltl 19. So all of them got equal to their season average or much more when it comes to the rebounding. In bad rebounding games, though, let's say the games that for Jokic, games that he's had under 12 rebounds, he's had at least 10 rebounds in the next game every single time this has happened this season, which this has happened in 6 different instances. We just need one more to get that 11 rebound, right? Now, you can also just take this as the 10 plus rebounds parlay with Michael Porter Jr. 2+ threes. It still will be good value. I think it'll be minus 117, minus 115, maybe minus 120, something like that on FanDuel, which is, I think that's some odds of 1.8 or something, which is still good. But I just really like Jokic's rebound line, and just taking Like I'm absolutely happy to take his rebound line, just one rebound less than the original line, which is 11 and a half. And part of it has to do with his history against the Cleveland Cavaliers, and in particular, whenever he's faced, I was gonna say Darius Garland, but no, that's not the center position. Whenever he's faced, Jared Allen in the in each of the three previous seasons, so these teams have faced each other 6 times. Jokic, well, here are his rebound numbers the 6 previous times that he's faced off against Allen and the Cavs: 18, 10, 18, 15, 19, and 12. So he's gone over in all but one. And by the way, the game that he didn't go over and he had 10 rebounds, he played for only 28 minutes. We know that Jokic, of course, he usually plays for 35 or even more minutes each game. So again, I don't even mind the original line here, but it's just like last game, everyone was expecting Jokic against the I think Warriors it was to absolutely destroy it with rebounds and get more than 13 or more than to get 13 or more. Everyone was taking his over, and he only had I think 10. So I just like playing it for 11 here again. Who knows? Maybe this ends up being a blowout for some reason, but his history and everything is there. And that's why I like it as the first leg of this parlay. But let's talk about the second leg. This one also has to do with history. But before that, let's just talk about the matchup because Michael Porter Jr. he plays sort of as a small forward position for the Nuggets, and that's a pretty good matchup because in the last 5 games, excluding the last game where small forwards facing the Cavs, excluding the last game, which was the Wizards, where Koulibaly went for 0 for 1, although he's only shooting 25% in November. Tatum went for 4 for 9. Jalen Johnson of the Hawks, 2 for 4 in 2 straight games. And RJ Barrett, 2 for 6. So all of them had at least two. Porter is averaging 2.5 threes from 6 attempts this season. He's only had 1 3 in the last 2 games, but it was mostly due to low attempts. But this guy can get hot, as we've seen earlier in the season, when he went for 6 straight games with 3+ threes. Now, here's the crazy stat. Are you ready? Are you ready for this crazy, weird stat that is in the archives when Michael Porter Jr. whenever he's faced the Cavs in his career against the Cavs, he's made 3 or more attempts in all of the games except the first 2 games, where in those first 2 games he only played for 3 and 16 minutes. He wasn't even a starter. But all of the other games where he's been a proper starter and has gotten proper minutes, he's made three threes or more against the Cavs. So that's 7 straight games, spanning back to over, I think, more than 3 seasons ago. So you just gotta like that this to me is the perfect bounce back spot for him to get back into his shooting groove and shooting a lot of threes. The only reason why I don't like the original line for this 2.5, it is for plus value too, but the only reason why I don't like it is I'm a little bit concerned about the volume of threes that he's going to be taking, because the past 2 games were the first 2 games that Aaron Gordon returned from injury after a while, and in the first game he only had where Aaron Gordon returned from injury and he was in the starting lineup again. Michael Porter Jr. only attempted 1 shot from three, and he made that shot. In the next game, the Warriors, his threes went from 1 to 3. So this time he attempted 3 threes and he made one of them. So it's slowly going up, but maybe he doesn't go for 6 or 7, or maybe the volume is not insanely high tonight, and maybe he just shoots for 5. He makes 5 3 attempts, right? 5 attempts from three. Now, usually he's shown us again. We look at the history that his efficiency is there. But even if his efficiency is there, it has to be really there if we're expecting him to make 3 from 5, right? That's 60% from three. It's very unlikely. So the only reason why, again, I'm not playing for the original line is I'm a little bit concerned about his volume of shots that he's going to be taking tonight from three. But other than that, I really like this parlay here. Um, I was considering playing both of these as a straight bet, but then the Jokic one over 11.5 rebounds, that one is not for plus value. So since it wasn't for plus value, I just decided to sort of parlay them up like this. And also, again, it's the Michael Porter Jr. one. Like I said, um, the volume of threes that he's going to be taking, that's a little bit of a concern. He might not be taking 6 or 7 or 8. He might just take like 5. It's slowly going up ever since Aaron Gordon returned, but still, it's not like up. So, first pick, let's move on to the second pick, and let's move on to a player of the Cavs. Mr. Darius Garland. And we're going to be fading him tonight. Fading his, this is a new one. I don't think we played this season. His PA's line, or points plus assists, under 27.5. Now, again, for a unit. Now, this is another one of those it's due picks. What do I mean by that? Well, before I mention what I mean by that, we've already cashed in one of these earlier this season. The one I remember was the one that we had from Mikal Bridges and his under in points when he was facing the Jazz. And that was really easy sweat for. He only scored 7 points. His points line was, I think, for 14.5 or 15.5, something like that. But anyway, Garland is averaging 20.3 points and 6.7 assists this season. That, if you add that up, it's about 27 points plus assists. But the reason why I say it's due is because the six last games, the six last point guards who have faced the Denver Nuggets have all gone over without exception. They've gone all of them have gone over their PA line, their points plus assist lines. Here are their numbers. Stephen Curry, 35. Harden, 50. Again, this is the points plus assists. Keontae George, 27. Brunson, 40. And Reeves, 25. 7 in a row? It would be 7 in a row if Garland also goes over tonight. I don't think so. That's just unlikely. Garland is too streaky of a player. And also, his career against Murray, they didn't play against each other last season because Murray was injured, but the season before that, and just in his career, Darius Garland has faced Jamal Murray, because that's the point guard he's going to be facing, obviously, 5 times. And in those 5 times, he's gone under this line in 4 of 5. And even if Christian Braun ends up guarding him, because you never know who the matchup is going to be, I actually think Braun is a better defender than Murray. So we should be good here. Darius Garland under 27.5 points plus assists. Let's go. Pick number 3 to wrap things up. We're moving on to a game pick, and it has nothing to do with this game anymore. We are moving on to another game, and we are taking the Spurs to just win their money line. They are facing the Bulls in San Antonio, and Wemby is out. But for the Bulls, Coby White, Lonzo Ball, and Patrick Williams are all out, and Josh Giddey is questionable. So they also have a lot of key players out. Now, each of the previous 2 seasons, the Bulls have swept the season series when they faced against the Spurs. But this is the first time I think that the Spurs are actually the better team. And they've also been playing great at home. Now, actually, without Wemby, they beat the Jazz in their second matchup against them. The Spurs did, even though they lost their first matchup against them with Wemby playing. But, and this is an important but, and it's more, yeah, it's definitely more important than, the Jazz. The Spurs beat the OKC Thunder without Wemby. I don't know what else there is to say, man. That right there should be enough. Even without Wemby, there's been a few games, of course, they played without Wemby. Most of them, they've been playing really good basketball, and it hasn't really affected them not having their best player. They figured things out, and again, they're very good at home. Other than the Lakers, which have somehow had their number, they've been really good at home. They've only lost to, I think, the Rockets, and what other team did they lose against? Oh yeah, the Jazz. That they lost by 1 point against the Jazz when Wemby was playing. But other than that, they've been really good against and home. They won, like I said, the OKC Thunder without Wemby, and then they beat the Warriors, and they've just been really solid. Even on the road recently, they lost to Phoenix, but before that, they beat the Kings. So just a different Spurs team this season, and even without Wemby in the few games, they have been very good. And I think that even if they don't play as good as well as they did in their game against OKC, it doesn't matter because they're facing a much weaker foe here, a much weaker adversary, the Chicago Bulls, that also have many injured players. And also the Spurs are also healthier, right? Like, yes, Wemby is out, but Jeremy Sohan is back in, and also Devin Vassell, who can score in bunches. He is also available and playing it healthy. So I think that they can definitely win this, and I think the money line should have been more in favor for the Spurs here. Not at, I think the current line is at minus 130, something like that, but I just like it, and this is my third pick. Let's go 3-0. It's been some time since we've had a sweep. We are due for a second sweep, and let's get it tonight, baby. Enough bad days. We need to make every month profitable. If you watched it till here and you liked it, like the video, subscribe, share, all that. Thank you so much. See you in the next one. Good luck. Let's take down the bookies, and we need to prepare for tonight's battle. Let's get it.